Hi friends, welcome back to the setting up of Selenium automation using TestNG Maven, running automation using Jenkins jobs and storing our automation code on GitHub repository. This is third video in continuation of first two videos. So if you haven't seen first two videos, I will request you to go back and refer first two videos because this video will be in continuation of first two videos. So in last two videos what we have done is we have installed and configured the Eclipse, then we have created a Maven project. We have given dependency of Selenium, TestNG, Surefire plugin, log4j, Maven compiler in pom.xml, and thereby we have set up Selenium and TestNG. We ran this project after creating few TestNG tests as a Maven project. We run Maven test. We also checked the reports generated by Maven. Then we created TestNG.xml, and in pom.xml we have given reference of TestNG and ran our Maven project. So we also got TestNG reports. Going forward, this is covered in first two videos, and in this video we'll try to run the same project which we ran from Eclipse from Jenkins. We'll create a Jenkins job and run our Maven project through Jenkins. So from scratch we'll install Jenkins, we'll create a Maven project we'll run our Eclipse Maven project through Jenkins job. So what I mean to say is that we'll install Jenkins, we'll create a job like this in Jenkins, and then we'll run. When we run this, it will run our project, and it will build this project and give the results like this. So this is my separate setup. So we'll try something similar, that how to run our Eclipse project through Jenkins job. We'll configure it, which is important step in Jenkins. So how to do it? Let's try to install Jenkins, and this is our setup machine where we are trying our project. So we'll try to install Jenkins on this machine, configure a Jenkins job, and through that Jenkins job we'll run this project which we have created. So let's start and install Jenkins on this machine. So I have installed Jenkins successfully. While installation, it may ask you to restart your machine, and it will also ask you the initial password to be taken from a plain text file. After doing all this, it will also ask you to install the plugins which you select, or give an option to go ahead with the default plugins. So I have installed Jenkins successfully and haven't selected any additional plugin. Let me log in to Jenkins for the first time. up till now we haven't created any job. We need to create a Maven job, Maven, to run our Maven project, which is here. This is our Maven project, and we want to run this Maven project using Jenkins job. If I now try to create Maven job, it won't give me any option, any specific option to create a Maven job. It's a freestyle project pipeline and all other options it gives, but to create a job for a Maven project we need to add plugin from manage Jenkins plugin manager, and you can search Maven related plugin and install that plugin so that all the Maven related functionality is available on Jenkins. Let's start installing Maven integration plugin. In actual organization, testers don't install Jenkins like this. I mean, they don't install on their machine, or centralized Jenkins is already installed somewhere else, and they just access the URL of that, and whatever jobs are already created, they run that job rather than daily creating new jobs. So Maven plugin is installed. If we try to create a new project, see the Maven project option is there, so we'll create a Maven project in Jenkins. Selenium Web Automation is the name of project. Select it as a Maven project, and this is important screen. It's a configuration of a project. There are many tabs. It all depend on what you want to configure. Depend on that you need to choose tab. Going forward we'll be integrating this with Git, but as of now no. So when we integrate this project with Git, then we'll pull our automation code from Git repository and then keep it on a local, and then we'll run it. But as of now, and that's the second step, as of now we will just try to run Maven project which is there on my local on this machine. There's this particular project we want to try to run on through Jenkins. So for that we need to set the build. We need to set a root path for a POM and a goal, as I mentioned you before in previous videos, that I mentioned about the goals which are mentioned in pom.xml. We are interested in test goal with which we run our test cases, and for that, to run test goal, we are using Maven Surefire plugin. So we are interested in test goal, so we'll write test as our goal, and we'll provide a path of our pom.xml, which is our project location. So this is my local path, a pom.xml, which should be provided here in root XML. So Let's save this configuration. After providing this minimum configuration, that is path of pom.xml, and goal, just will try to run it and see whether it runs or it give some sort of error. So I have run it, but it has given me error. We'll see the console output, what kind of error it is giving me. It's giving this error, which we'll try to rectify. To correct this error, we may need to provide a path of Maven home in Jenkins. So let me find out the path of Maven. Previously we downloaded and unzipped the Maven folder. So this is Maven folder. So this path will provide as a Maven home in Jenkins global tools, and we'll see whether this will rectify our problem. Global tools and configuration in Jenkins, and as we have Maven plugin, it will show this section as a Maven installation. Click this. I have added this, and path also I have added a name, and I uncheck the install automatically. I don't want to install Maven whenever Jenkins job run, because I already have my Maven available. So I'm saving this and again try to run Jenkins job. Let's see whether it fixes the problem which we faced. It's running. We'll check the console output, which will show success and failure. It went ahead. It's downloading repo, which is a good sign. So now it's pointing to our project, which is there in Eclipse Automation PRJ. It picked up this POM, and as per this POM, it is executing this project through Jenkins. Let me see whether it's executing successfully all the repo. First time it will take some time to run this job, and once this job is run, we can see the output. First time when we ran project from Eclipse, it also downloaded all these dependencies. So similarly, when I run this from Jenkins, it's downloading again. So first time it will always time consuming, as it's connecting to repo, Maven repo, and downloading dependencies. Dependencies are downloaded, and now it's running test. Our test build is successful. There are 2 tests and 2 failures, which is expected. I have deliberately haven't given path of executable, Chrome driver executable, and that's why it's failing. So yeah, we are able to run our project from Jenkins. One more time we'll try to execute it from Eclipse as a Maven test. It's running. It won't take time because all dependencies are already downloaded. It is giving same expected result, and same way we ran our project, automation project, from Jenkins. Again, I'm trying to build it from Jenkins, so that is how we can run our project, automation project, through Jenkins. So I'm manually kicking off this build from Jenkins, but we can always configure and schedule it. So at a particular time, if I want to schedule a build, then I can definitely mention when I want to execute that particular build. Apart from that, as I mentioned earlier, I can give a source code path and when to trigger build. There can be a series of builds can be kicked off, like if first build is successful, run the second job of a Jenkins, and all the series can be triggered. For that, this is the section. The important thing again is post build action. Once build is run successfully, I want an email or a notification to be notifying me that build is successful or not. That also we can configure. We have various plugins which we can set, like this one. I know for sure that Gmail ID won't work because it gives Gmail ID will give you a security warning that email is trying to access your Gmail from invalid source, or it will give some security reasons. So that's why we won't get unless it's office email ID. You can also provide your office email ID, but this Jenkins should have access to that particular server, email server. So that is how we run. Second time when we run our build, whether it's successfully carried out, it will show a result here. Test result we'll see in com.pages package. I have two tests, first test and second test, and it will give us trace of each of these things, and which is very useful to debug the failed test cases. So it will show you how many test cases are pass and fail, how many builds are ran. On project level, it will show test result trend. All tests are failed, that's why it is showing all red. So this is how we can run our automation project through Jenkins. The use of Jenkins, why we are running our project from Jenkins. In my organization, we schedule this at 1 AM in morning when there is no tester, nobody's there in office. My developers give late night build. Once that build is available, automatically we install that build using our automation, which is a separate automation. And after installing my product, the Jenkins will kick off the web automation on that product at 1 o'clock night, and it will run, go ahead, and we have a whole lot of test case, test suites, and it will run for 2 to 3 hours. And when we arrive in morning office at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, our test results are ready for night's build. So we can first thing we check is Jenkins, which test cases are pass and fail. We concentrate on failed test cases and we try to rectify. We'll correct those test cases, check into Git, and again try to run our automation suite from Jenkins, and same thing continues day after day. So in video 2, if you remember, I told you that our pom.xml is pointing to TestNG.xml and TestNG is pointing to com.pages, and all the tests under this package will run. So same way in Jenkins we have a plugin for TestNG which we can use. So let's see, it's already installed or we need to install. By default it won't be installed, but while installation of Jenkins, if I have selected, then it will be available. Otherwise I need to explicitly install TestNG results plugin. so which will give you good output. So it's not installed. Let's install it and see what kind of results it will give. It will give the TestNG results in a very good format. It's installed. Again we'll run our Jenkins job, build schedule, it will run. We can check console output for the tests. Test result is now available. It's still running. Collecting data, snapshot. So TestNG results plugin is responsible for showing these result. It's good result. Pass and failure, everything it will show up all the what are the information we need to debug a particular failure is it's shown here. So that's a good plugin to have. So we have two test cases which is failing. Let me add some more test cases and then I'll try to run our automation from Jenkins. So let me try to add a few test cases, sample test cases in com.pages, and then I'll run the project from Jenkins. I have added additional tests to my automation. These are the tests and I'm trying to run them now from Jenkins. I'm executing same job manually, I'm building it now. You see console output test started running and ultimate output is there. Build is successful. There are 5 test cases ran, 2 are failures, that means 3 are pass and 2 are failed. And then if you go back and run the analysis which are pass and fail, it will show the test result like this, which test cases are fail, analysis of that under the project, and it will give you a very nice drill down report for all the tests. It will show the analysis of past test cases, also the the stack trace of the failed test cases separately it will give, and that is how which are the tests are there, and this is how the Jenkins works, and this is how we can execute our test cases, automation test cases from a Jenkins job. So this is it all about Jenkins. So next thing is we are trying to integrate or put all our automation code in Git repository, and through Jenkins job we'll trying to pull it on our local and then run the automation. That's the next. So if you haven't seen my first 2 videos, please check them, and this is the third. The next one will be about the Git repository and its integration. So I hope you like this. Check out my videos and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. See ya.